Alright, so re-explain to me what you were talking about that you learned in school today. About like all of the proteins, viruses.
So,
teach me.
In school, we learned about cells and how diseases will get to the nucleus of your cells and basically make you sick.
Okay.
So, first you gotta know what cells and diseases are. So, disease, you obviously know what a disease is. Cells are what make up your body. The average human being has about 120 trillion cells in all of their body. Each cell has like unique parts inside of it, including a nucleus, which is what diseases will try to go for. That's their primary directive. That's their main goal in life. If they're alive, we don't know.
If they're alive.
Yeah,
right.
We don't even know if they're alive. We don't even know cells are alive.
We'll get into that later.
Yeah, get into that later. So first you have defenses. You have your skin. That's your first line of defense. The disease needs to try to get through your skin into your body. So you have holes in your skin. You have your mouth. You have your nose. You have your ears. You have everything a disease needs to get inside of your skin to essentially start the process of getting you sick. So once it gets inside of your skin, if it gets inside of your skin, then there's another defensive process, which is where things start happening. There are these things called proteins. They're these little white cells that will go and attack the disease. Basically, they'll go up, attach on to the disease, and just start breaking it down. I'm not going to say eating it, because they don't really absorb it. They just break it down and compact it. So what they do is they do that, but there are two types of proteins, one that send messages and one that attack. The ones that send messages go in and out of the cell wall to the nucleus, giving data and information on what's happening on the outside. Yeah.
That's dope.
To think that we may not think they're alive is kind of questionable.
Yeah, man, that's pretty arguable. If they can communicate, if they can move, if they seem to have like a goal or, like you said, a directive, what is life then? I mean, anyways.
They're like humans, but we're questioning the fact that they're alive, right?
Yeah, and when you're breaking, when these proteins are breaking these, did you say the cell? They're breaking the cell down, or they're breaking what down?
They're breaking the disease down. The proteins are breaking the disease down.
Okay, so are they consuming the disease? Like when you breaking something down usually means that it's synthesizing it, or it's using it as energy.
I'll have to explain that later, because it'll fit in with everything else.
Okay.
So the white proteins will go and why did I say white proteins? That's just the color that they were in the video.
Because you're a racist.
Oh,
you're one of those
really?
racer guys.
Racer guy? What?
I don't know. I'm old. Shut up. Anyways, yeah, keep going.
So basically,
you said that they go and communicate.
They go and communicate. So then the nucleus knows that there's something going on that's not right, or they know that the proteins are just bullshitting them the whole time, you know. Yeah. But the disease will eventually, dead or not, it'll land on the cell wall if it's alive. It'll eventually, as a whole, land on the cell wall. The cell wall is just basically a wall that goes around the nucleus and everything inside. That's just made up of a bunch of atoms and cells, and they're super compact together, so nothing can get inside without permission.
Okay. Permission from who? From whom?
From the basic knowledge that, like, they know, the cells and the atoms know who's allowed into the nucleus and who's not.
Okay.
Which is kind of why I'm on the side that they might be alive.
Yeah, there's like a level of intelligence, or like, I don't know, 0 and 1.
Yeah. Again, they're not like us. They're not like humans, so how would we know what alive is even? Because all we know is us and what we feel.
Yeah. It almost seems like a binary system, you know?
Definitely,
like Anyways.
Yeah, okay.
Keep distracting you, I'm sorry.
We keep on doing this.
Keep going.
This is us in a nutshell.
Rabbit hole engage.
Yep. So what they do is when they land on the cell wall,
Say that. Who's they?
The disease.
Okay.
And the proteins that are on the disease. There's more proteins, but there are different kind of proteins. Proteins they get made from like the food that you eat, or like things you consume, or things that get in your body. Then there's like, I would say there's like a battery. It's not like a battery, but it's like a charging station. So inside of each cell or cell wall, there's like a source of power. I don't really know where it is, but it's kind of what makes everything work, essentially. It's what make everything happen. It's like they're like little energy pockets everywhere inside of your body, and there's at least like hundreds of them in every single cell.
Okay.
Considering there's 120 trillion cells, but the thing about those is they power diseases as well, because they power every single living cell, and diseases are essentially cells. So what it does when it gets on the cell wall is the proteins that are like sitting up and they're alive, that just got made at the battery station, they're all tested and stuff, and they're all good. So they're going up on the cell wall, and it's like first day on the job. Oh, there's a disease. I'm getting paid $100. Yeah. So their job is to either keep on attacking the disease with all of their friends, or to send messages like all the other proteins. So many words. So what they will do is they'll send messages to the nucleus, so it's kind of like they're alive. But there are different types of proteins. They're the bigger proteins and the smaller ones. The smaller ones are the ones that I was just talking about. The bigger ones are like guards, who will, like, if they see a bad, like a disease or something, or a protein that wasn't made right, they'll kill it. But they can be fooled. They can be fooled by disguise. Not like they could see, but I don't know. We don't know much about cells yet. It's only the 21st century, but... Well,
anyway, so they can be fooled,
they know.
So the virus can still get in.
Yeah, but there's also something that tests all of the proteins and all of the big proteins. Your white blood cells. They go around and they see if your proteins are ready or not. And then once they're done, they go on to the next huge cell, and then they just scan all those. Like, their job never ends. So what the big proteins will do is, if they see a disease, they attack it and go tell the nucleus what's going on, kill it, it's all over with for that disease. But some can be fooled, of course, like I said. And the only way that they can get inside of the cell wall is if they get fooled and they have a key.
Yeah, because you said like it has to be allowed or disallowed in. So how would it have a key, or is it like a certain shape that it has to be to fit in to the cell?
So there's tiny holes, medium holes, and huge holes into the cell wall. The tiny holes are for things like air molecules, water molecules, things that we essentially need to keep us alive. The medium holes are for like sugar or other things that we need to keep us alive. The big holes, those aren't just there. Those you need a pass key to go in, because there's cargo that needs to be shipped in there. So that's why they're huge and not just big.
It's like a Walmart distribution center.
Yeah. That's why I think they're alive.
Dude, and how could that not be alive? Like, what is life?
What's our definition of life?
I don't know. I mean, I think like...
Exactly.
I think everything that exists that has atoms, that has... electrons, neutrons, protons, everything that has some sort of form of matter and some form of energy to it is alive.
Well, just because we know what we experience as selfish human beings that we are, and we know that we're alive, just because something acts like us, they're suddenly alive.
True.
They could be dead, but just because we know what we experience doesn't mean we know what they experience.
Well, I think that's because we look at like the micro and the macro of things. So we look at us and we look into a microscope, and we're like, okay, these processes are going on, these certain particles exist, and then we find them on a bigger scale. We're like, okay, so that also has to be true. But what is life and what's alive is kind of like, what is consciousness? Like, is a dog conscious? Are we the smartest beings and we're blessed by holy Jesus and God and like put here because we're special and we can read these books? And I don't think, I think a dog has consciousness too. Dogs can communicate, they can show empathy, they can show love, compassion, anger. Bees, colonies of bees are like communists, but the way that they function, they communicate, they reproduce, they eat. Everything in the kingdom of life that we know has to consume another life for it to survive. That's what we were talking about earlier. Is a virus a bad thing? Like, we consider a virus bad because it makes us sick, but a virus, if a virus is alive, isn't a virus just trying to eat and survive and like reproduce itself, just like we as humans are trying to do and ants are trying to do? Like a shark, a fish in the ocean looks at a shark and it's like, a shark's bad, but a shark's just fucking hungry and trying to eat, so that's what we need the answers to. If any of you out there know, are viruses alive? What do you define life as? And
we don't know if viruses are alive. What do you think on viruses is more accurate?
Yes, and is there anything that he just completely bullshitted as he went and like lied about? Because he's pretty damn convincing that there's like this little BS. No?
Dude, no.
You learned all of that in school.
I learned all of this
through
today
looking at a
in science.
microscope, and the fact that you were able to regurgitate everything means that you actually gave a shit about what you were studying.
I saw the nucleus of a butterfly wing in a microscope.
That's pretty wicked.
In science class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, like, for me to get the grades that you get in school, I always had to study and like spend a lot of time cracking up books and stuff. But I think I was only half paying attention in school. I was like thinking about writing girls' notes and stuff like that.
I think about the same thing, but I don't have to study or do anything to get good grades.
Well, yeah, because I think you're like really brutally intrigued by what you're learning in class. Enough to where like you actually soak up all the information. But that's pretty awesome. What were you saying about salt? Like a little while ago, you said that you also looked at a molecule of salt, and you said it was really cool.
I was looking at I forgot if it was sugar or salt, but you found it was or sand, one of those three. But we found it on like a beach.
Okay.
And when you looked at it in the microscope and you moved the lens of the microscope, they would start turning and turning and turning. It was so weird, like
what
crystals. The thing itself, like the molecules, would start like twisting, and I don't know. I think that's just the refraction of the light, but it would just start like moving. Like if you look at a crystal, like in a microscope, and you zoom in and out, it's like a kaleidoscope.
Okay.
It just starts moving. It looks like that. It's so weird. I don't know what's going on.
Is it while you're moving the lens, or like when you stop finally and you're looking at it? It's just
while you're
like
moving the lens.
Okay.
That's why I think it's just a reflection of light. I was like, what is going on?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Breakthrough in science by a 12-year-old. What you want? Anyways, so they try to break through the cell wall through the big holes because that's the other thing they could fit in. So they have to use a key, and they're like,
okay,
yeah, and they're like, well, how do I make a key? So they have evolved this disease. I forgot what the disease name was. I think it starts with an A, but I don't know what the disease name was. But all I know is that I stutter too much.
You just taught. You're like me. You have so much going on in your mind constantly that you're trying to just get it all out, and you hand gesture. I've realized that you and I hand gesture the same and a lot.
Yeah.
That's all right. So I feel like we got to a stopping point, but now you're just breaking and opening again, and you're making me have to think, and my brain's just melting.
What's wrong with thinking? Come on.
Nothing. You're absolutely right. Preach, brother.
If you listened to car radio, you would have known. I'm kidding.
I think we should do like one episode a week, every Thursday, of the podcast, and call it like Truck Talk with Josh.
Challenge accepted, but we need to find a less corny and cringy name than that.
Touche. All right.
Wait.
Then you have homework by next Thursday. You have to come up with a cooler name, or else I'm just putting this up on YouTube, and it's Truck Talk with Josh.
I'm glad that last week I paid 50 copying good tickets to be exempt on my last week's homework, because this week's homework was the last. So I didn't have to do this week's homework.
Oh, yeah, dude. School's almost done.
Dude, I got 3 more days. I got Friday, then it's Memorial Day, so I don't have it on Sunday, but I have it on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, you get Monday off and then 2 last days of school.
Yeah, man. I don't even need to bring any of my materials next week.
That's awesome.
Okay, anyways. back.
All right, well, I think we can probably end this one. It's
really?
15 minutes long.
15 minutes?
We talked about viruses.
Holy
we need
cow.
some help from the community of smart people and chemists and biologists.
I mean, how lucky are we going to get with those people? Because one, I mean, how many people do you know that watch your channel other than your friends and me?
Nobody. Like, I'm the most unfamous,
and then,
ugly-looking dude that's ever existed. But like, maybe somebody will be interested in it.
No, I know where I get it from.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You're
no, Dad.
super ugly. No, but if anybody has any like comments and can help us further understand this quandary of whether or not viruses are alive, we could go into the good versus evil and whether or not good and evil even exist.
I was just gonna say that. Dang it, Dad.
We could go into the, are we a computer simulation? Or do we have souls? Are we one universal soul? Is there even a God? Or are we all just destined for like catastrophic chaos? But we'll save that for the next week's episode. So have fun. See you guys later. Josh, Dustin, peace out.